raw power and precision of engineering at its finest. These cranes are built to handle the heaviest loads and face the toughest challenges with unmatched efficiency. But just a single mistake leads to a disaster that nobody can imagine. So get ready for the world's most dangerous and fastest crane fails. What happens when a crane meets its match? Watch this and see what exactly happens. A crane was lifting a massive section of a tree trunk, and at first, everything was going smoothly until the trunk was attached to the tree. But as the weight shifted, the crane couldn't handle the load. Before anyone reacted, the entire machine tipped backward, completely flipping over and crashing to the ground. It's a clear example of how important proper weight calculations are in crane operations. Even a small mistake can lead to serious consequences. This moment also raises an important question. How do operators prepare for unexpected challenges like this? And what steps can be taken to prevent such incidents? And you've probably seen a giant crane lifting bridge blocks. This looks perfect, and you think, this crane can't be stopped. But this moment will change your mind. A crane was carefully lifting massive bridge blocks when disaster struck. As the block swung too close, it collided hard with the side of the bridge. The sudden impact caused a violent reaction, destabilizing the crane. In just seconds, the entire machine lost balance, flipped over, and crashed to the ground with tremendous force. This shows just how important it is to maintain control and be aware of every movement. One small mistake triggers a chain reaction that leads to a major accident. Bridge failure is an everyday story, but have you ever seen a plane fail? If not, just watch it. Lifting an airplane is no small task, and this moment proves why. A chain crane is hoisting the massive weight of an airplane when things went horribly wrong. The load was just too much for the crane to handle. Obviously, it's a plane, and we're talking about 10,450 pounds. You think lifting that is easy? No. Suddenly, the crane's tower snapped in the middle, almost like a finger breaking under pressure. In an instant, both the crane and the airplane came crashing down to the ground. Luckily, no one was hurt in the accident. And that's a huge relief, because we all know how dangerous plane-related crashes can be, often leading to fires or turning the area into a death zone. Thankfully, this time, it was just some property damage and nothing more. Pools are meant to bring fun and relaxation, but have you ever seen one fall from the sky? If not, this moment will leave you stunned. A crane was carefully lifting a massive swimming pool to place it on a rooftop. Everything appeared to be going as planned. The pool was high in the air, almost ready to be positioned. But then, this happened.
Came from the Pennsylvania farm. Holy smoke!
The wire securing the pool gave way, unable to handle the combined stress of the pool's weight and the tension caused by strong winds. In an instant, the wire snapped, and the entire pool came crashing down, hitting the ground with a loud thud. At first, onlookers feared the worst, assuming someone was standing beneath it. Everyone rushed to the scene, dreading what they might find. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but the damage was significant. The pool was destroyed, part of a nearby wall crumbled, and even a few parked cars were damaged. This is a reminder of how critical proper safety measures are in operations like this. You've seen those massive cranes at ports lifting containers onto ships. At first, this looks cool, but this moment shows how risky their operations can be. During routine work, a crane experienced a critical failure. Without warning, the base of the crane's tower snapped. Before the operator could respond, the upper section broke off completely and fell straight into the ocean. OMG. Thankfully, no containers were being lifted at the time. If they had been, the damage could have been far worse, potentially costing millions. Even so, the loss of the crane alone is significant, with replacement or repairs costing millions of dollars. But that cost is nothing compared to this failure. A massive container crane was being moved from one side of the port to another. A bulldozer was tasked with pushing the crane along its tracks, a standard procedure for repositioning heavy machinery. But things went wrong when the bulldozer pushed with too much force, which caused the crane to slide uncontrollably. Unable to stabilize itself, the crane veered off its track, and within moments, the entire structure tipped over and crashed to the ground. The damage was huge. The crane was completely destroyed, and the cost of the failure was massive. This shows how risky it is to handle heavy machinery and why careful planning is so important. But what happens when a crane takes on a building stronger than expected? This moment gives you the answer. A crane was busy demolishing a house, and at first everything was going smoothly, but this house had a much stronger structure than anyone anticipated. As the crane worked on the front part, it got stuck in the building. The operator increased the force to free it, but the upper section of the crane was still lodged tightly. The tension became too much, and the crane's arms snapped, but the operator was still trying to get out of it. And suddenly, this happened. Boom! Before the operator regained control, the entire crane lost balance and came crashing to the ground in seconds. Luckily, no big damage, but it's a clear example of how unpredictable demolition work can be and why careful planning is so important when dealing with such powerful machines. If you think you've seen all the dangerous failures, watch this. A crane was lifting heavy blocks for a bridge. Everything looked fine. Workers were giving instructions, and the crane operator was doing their job carefully. Suddenly, the crane started to lean. Before anyone could stop it, the crane tipped over and crashed onto the bridge. The crash was so heavy that one side of the bridge broke and fell down. People nearby quickly moved away, but some workers couldn't escape in time and got trapped under the broken pieces. Others ran to help, trying to pull them out while waiting for emergency teams. What started as smooth work turned into a scary situation in seconds. The fall caused a lot of damage and delayed the project. It's a reminder of how dangerous this kind of work can be and why safety needs to be a top priority when using big machines like cranes. Cranes at ports are made to handle heavy loads, but sometimes things go wrong, and this video is live proof. A crane was lifting containers, and everything seemed fine. The pump was working perfectly, and the job was going smoothly. Then, out of nowhere, the pump broke. People started shouting and running for safety as the crane began to shake. For a few seconds, it looked like the crane might stop, and everyone hoped it was under control. But suddenly, the entire crane collapsed and crashed onto a nearby ship with a huge bang. Luckily, everyone on the ship had already gotten to safety, so no one was hurt. But the damage was massive. The ship's deck was destroyed, and the crane was completely ruined. Fixing the ship and crane will cost a fortune, and it's a problem the contractor won't forget anytime soon. This shows how quickly things can go wrong when even a small part of the machinery fails. These were some of the most shocking crane fails ever caught on camera. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible moments where machines push and break their limits.